The U.S. Air Force has announced the start of a new mission involving a supersonic space plane. It's to be launched into orbit using a Falcon 9 rocket by SpaceX. This is the first ever open cooperation between the Pentagon and Elon Musk's company. However, there were several other secret joint projects before that. The result was that the United States tested a hypersonic aircraft for the first time, which SpaceX engineers worked on. This is the aircraft that succeeded the legendary Blackbird.
The Blackbird was revolutionary because it was the first aircraft designed for sustained flight at 2,000 miles per hour.
The new SR-72 is also an incredibly fast fighter capable of reaching a speed of 4,000 miles per hour, which is 6 times faster than sound. The enemy will not even have time to react to its appearance. The first flight test of the SR-72 took place in July of this year, but the general public became aware of them only in late September. This aircraft was developed by Skunk Works, which is considered the most secretive design department of Lockheed Martin. Later, it became clear that the developers did not have a full understanding of how to make the aircraft fast enough to meet the customer's request. It was decided to apply to SpaceX because who else but them would know everything about the development of hypersonic engines? The SR-72 is powered by a turbojet engine capable of operating in several modes. In the first mode, the fighter accelerates to Mach 2, after which the direct air jet mode is activated, which accelerates the aircraft to an incredible 4,000 miles per hour. The main purpose for which such speed is needed is reconnaissance and inaccessibility to enemy air defense. Flying at maximum speed, the SR-72 can get information about the enemy using incredibly accurate sensors and radars, and then fly to a safe area without any problems, avoiding all possible enemy defense systems.
It will operate in tomorrow's high-end threat environment, and it will enable America to outmaneuver, to outpace, and to outmatch our adversaries. It will deter aggression.
Currently, 2 versions of the aircraft are being considered, unmanned and manned, each of which will be able to carry a set of powerful weapons. This includes new lightweight missiles. Their main feature is that they don't need to reach high speeds. The aircraft will do it for them. Instead, they can be very maneuverable and accurate, capable of shooting down almost any existing fighter. But speed should be the key indicator and will remain a priority over the next few decades. But not everyone likes this kind of technology developed in the United States.
We're looking at everything from within flight systems areas, we're looking at battery technologies and using a lot less hydraulics in the cockpit.
China already has combat satellites capable of launching missiles from space. The United States needs to develop weapons that can withstand such technologies. This may be why the Pentagon wants to cooperate with SpaceX. The members of this company know everything about space and space satellites. They understand better than anyone what characteristics an aircraft must have to be able to operate in space. The result of the joint work of SpaceX and Boeing is the X-37B. This aircraft was first sent into space in 2010, but there was no detailed information about the mission at the time. The United States carefully concealed the aircraft's features. However, the Space Force recently announced that it had a response to the Chinese satellites, and of course, this is the new aircraft.
Strike fighter is going to be the backbone airplane for hauling freight. It is going to be the muscle part of sustained forces.
The X-37B is capable of flying at an altitude of 350 miles, which is where most artificial satellites fly. An unusual feature of the aircraft is that it can spend more than 750 days in space. To achieve such results, SpaceX developers had to come up with not only a unique design similar to the Space Shuttle, but also design a completely new ion engine similar to the one used by the Down research spacecraft, which studied the asteroid belt. Another fact that confirms SpaceX's cooperation with the United States is the launch rocket that'll put the aircraft into orbit. This is Falcon Heavy, which is a development of the same SpaceX company. It's also curious how the X-37B will destroy satellites. Conventional missiles are not appropriate for this purpose as they're not adapted for use in the space environment. Lasers such as the Laws combat laser developed by Lockheed Martin come to the rescue in this case. Its 60 kilowatts of power is enough to burn the entire technological filling of the satellite in less than 10 seconds, and its endless ammunition allows it to do so even every minute.
The environment's changing, and the threat's changing, and therefore we are looking at laser-directed energy weapons. They're around and about on ships.
While Elon Musk's company is launching fighters into space, NASA's testing other aircraft that also claim to be space invaders. For example, the B-21 Raider. This is the first new U.S. bomber in 30 years. The best minds at the Pentagon worked on its creation, and they put all their strength and knowledge into this matter, spending half their lives developing this machine. It's armed with nuclear bombs, has a sophisticated camouflage system, and can destroy an entire country in a moment. But this is not its main feature.
The primary armament is in weapons bays underneath the airplane, where we carry 6 medium-range radar-guided missiles.
While at the NASA test site, B-21 experienced all the delights of artificial intelligence. That's right, the American bomber is a kind of advanced drone. The position of the aircraft in flight is constantly controlled by a sophisticated electronic system connected to all the mechanisms and engines. And all these actions are managed by modern artificial intelligence, although the bomber still has a mode when it can be operated by a pilot.
The B-21 Raider is the first strategic bomber in more than 3 decades. It is a testament to America's enduring advantages in ingenuity and innovation.
Such machines can be sent into the combat without fear for the pilot's life. In addition, artificial intelligence never gets tired and does everything strictly according to the rules. The B-21 navigation system includes an advanced Rockwell-Collins tactical system that simplifies the work of pilots and takes over some control functions. A Link 16 satellite communication system, also called the Sky Internet, was installed for data transmission. It's capable of transmitting hundreds of gigabytes of data per minute, which will allow Raider to become a kind of command center for other aircraft and drones.
The world has never seen technology like the B-21.
The body was also updated, making it suitable for high-altitude flights at orbit level. An unmanned bomber armed with nuclear warheads and capable of flying in space? Sounds both exciting and extremely threatening. The list of similar aircraft includes the F-15, which was also updated by NASA engineers. It didn't get a new laser or an advanced stealth mode. Instead, it was tested for suitability in outer space. NASA received the F-15 Model A from the U.S. Air Force on January 5, 1976, and it used it for more than 25 advanced research projects related to aerodynamics, performance, propulsion, control integration, and instrumentation development. This means that the aircraft has passed many different tests, from complete immersion in special liquids to testing systems in a complete vacuum. By the way, the aircraft has passed the test, and we may soon see its analog in outer space. There's so much news about fighter jets that it's hard to keep track of it. The United States is modernizing the F-35 Lightning II. At the same time, the Pentagon is considering ways to improve the F-22 for use on aircraft carriers, looking at options for transferring its F-16s to the Allies, and developing a 6th-generation fighter capable of destroying any enemy in seconds. However, today we're going to talk about the best fighter jet in the world among those that currently exist. By the way, write your opinions for the best fighter jet in the comments, and we're starting. The first fighter jet, which is associated with the word "the best," is the F-22 Raptor. It embodies the latest achievements of technological progress. With a maximum flight altitude of 62,000 feet, it reaches a speed of 1,500 miles per hour.
That the Air Force wanted a stealthy fighter. It was also clear that they wanted an airplane that would supercruise, in other words, run supersonically without lighting off the afterburners.
The Raptor was tested and adopted faster than any other analogs created in other countries. In addition, it's the most expensive combat aircraft in the history of aviation, as its price, excluding development costs, is $146 million. Much attention in the design of the aircraft is paid to survivability. Did you know that the aircraft can withstand high explosive munitions? But because of this, it was necessary to create polycarbonate glass for the cockpit with a special coating that's not only very strong, but also scatters radio waves, making the aircraft virtually invulnerable to radar detection and at the same time protecting it from direct hits.
I know firsthand from flying the Raptor against other aircraft and flying other aircraft against the Raptor that it's like clubbing baby seal.
Another special feature of the Raptor is its radar. This antenna, consisting of 2,000 elements, can detect targets at a distance of 140 miles and cruise missiles at a distance of 77 miles, which is almost a record among fighter jets. The F-22 Raptor was originally designed as a fighter jet that would gain air supremacy, therefore it's not very well adapted for striking ground targets. But it's more than suitable for air battles and can repel any modern aircraft. But there's another similar aircraft that performs well both in air combat and in hitting ground targets. The F-35 Lightning II is technically superior to the vast majority of modern developments, and it's also the most popular 5th-generation fighter jet.
Best flying aircraft I've had the opportunity to fly.
But have you ever wondered what caused such popularity? Of course, its characteristics and capabilities. Its engines not only accelerate the aircraft to 1,200 miles per hour, but are also capable of switching to a unique vertical thrust mode in which the F-35 can even do without a landing strip. It got to the point where the Lightning became the only fighter used on aircraft carriers, and it's not a deck-based fighter. The second reason for its popularity is invisibility. The more detection technologies are developed, the more emphasis in aviation is placed on invisibility for radar. In the F-35, this parameter has been honed to a fine point, all thanks to the redesign of stealth systems. In addition to the standard reflective plating and low-profile shape, the aircraft was equipped with a system that blocks most radar technology.
The mission of the airplane was to be half of what the Air Force called the high-low mix.
It's also worth mentioning the unique pilot's helmet installed on the aircraft. It has a built-in display that broadcasts part of the dashboard right in front of the pilot's eyes. This is incredibly convenient when it comes to intense combat, as the pilot does not have to spend precious seconds searching for important combat information. If that doesn't seem enough, then let's talk about the weapons, which are more than enough on the F-35.
Because of stealth, it's designed really to carry the weapons internally.
For large air enemies, a formidable weapon is provided in the form of ASRAAM guided cruise missiles, capable of accelerating to speeds over 2,500 miles per hour. Smaller targets will be handled by a 4-barreled 25mm cannon that'll turn the enemy into a sieve in a few seconds. If the target's on the ground, the AGM-158 will deal with it. This is a high-precision cruise missile of especially large size and weighing a ton. It's designed to defeat important, highly protected targets and does its job successfully even in the most terrible weather conditions. However, these missiles are also present on the F-22. More unusual are the HARM anti-radar missiles, which can easily detect enemy radar and destroy them. And we haven't even mentioned the ability to carry cluster and even nuclear bombs. This set is already powerful enough to make the F-35 the best fighter jet of our time. But we've learned that it's very likely that the aircraft will be equipped with real laser weapons. However, the engineers are already creating a new onboard control system that works in tandem with artificial intelligence capable of self-learning, which will make the pilot more of an addition to the aviation complex, where he or she will make only the most important decisions and numerous related tasks will be taken over by automation. After all these words, you may think that there's no better fighter, but the F-35 has worthy opponents that will definitely surprise you because they belong to the previous 4th generation of fighters. The F-16 Fighting Falcon can be called a rather interesting aircraft because today there are more than 10 of its main varieties and the same number of local versions, and the most modern version is the F-16V. This version of the aircraft has some pretty cool features that have earned it its fame.
The F-16 Fighting Falcon is a lightweight multi-role fighter that is highly maneuverable in air-to-air combat and air-to-ground attack.
Its 49-foot length and 31-foot wingspan make it highly maneuverable and compact, ideal for quick and surprise attacks. It can carry 21 tons of payload, which includes homing anti-tank missiles, air-to-air missiles, and a radar jamming system. In short, a set that can destroy anything, anywhere. The maximum speed it can reach is 930 miles per hour, which has long been considered a steep figure, but you must admit that it's less than the F-35's. However, Flight Falcon has a trick up its sleeve, and it's a numerical advantage. While only 900 F-35s currently exist, more than 4,600 F-16s have been produced. Such a swarm is capable of smashing to pieces even a more technologically advanced enemy, but it's not just a matter of numbers. After many years of operation of the F-16, the developers realized that its current version was far from the limit of its capabilities and turned their attention to the technologies of more modern fighters.
The success of the mission brings attention to the F-16's flawless maneuvering and fly-by-wire controls. And this is only the beginning of the Fighting Falcon's rise to glory.
For example, the aircraft received an improved stealth system. There are millions of microparticles of a special substance on the surface of its body, which prevents radar from recognizing what's in the air. They also improved the avionics, controls, strengthened the hull, and diversified the armament. In general, they did a great job. And while you admire the coolness of the F-16, it's time to tell you about its counterpart. The F/A-18 is the world's most versatile 4th-generation fighter jet, as it's both a fighter and an attack aircraft. The Super Hornet took to the skies in 1995 and immediately outperformed its predecessors in many respects. From the layout to the electronic equipment, everything has been updated and refined to make the aircraft the most advanced at the time of its release.
Well, of course, the F-18 has smart technology built into almost all of the weapon systems. Almost all of the hardpoint pylons and launchers are smart technologies.
Its radar was the first in history to be able to see targets at a distance of up to 90 miles, and the F-18 was the first to use a system to counter enemy radar. The Navy Command wanted to get the most out of the F-18, so it set out to simultaneously increase the range, introduce stealth technologies, increase survivability, expand the area of air and ground targets, and integrate modern weapons, including cruise missiles. This overall approach is explained as simply as possible. There's no room for different aircraft on the aircraft carrier, and it's necessary to make the most versatile option.
But on the F-18, we're going to fold these wings upright, and now there's an extra 4 to 5 feet of space.
That's why Super Hornet can really do almost anything. Being a conquest aircraft is easy. This is thanks to the ability to carry 12 AIM-120 air-to-air missiles at once, which hit targets at supersonic speeds. Sinking enemy ships with stealth missiles is also an easy task, as there are AGM-158 CS missiles on board, designed specifically for this purpose. Or maybe you need to throw high-precision bombs at the enemy, up to 10 of them in one flight, and it can do that. The F-18 is even capable of acting as an air tanker. Can any other aircraft boast of the same variety of capabilities? I think not. The F-18's safety margin's also in favor, as the aircraft's design is adapted to the stresses of catapult launches, hard landings on aircraft carriers, and salt water.
Because the F-18 is by far the most capable aircraft that these young pilots have ever flown in.
The only surprising thing is that, for all its advantages, the fighter did not become a bestseller like the F-16. Even more questions arise when it turns out that the price of the Super Hornet is only $53 million, while the price tag for the F-16 reaches $57 million. And this is without weapons. Each of these fighters is truly worthy of being called the best, but there's one that is simply bound to outperform any aircraft that exists today. We're talking about the Dark Star. This 6th-generation fighter jet may still be under development, but what it can do, no one else can do. Fly at a speed of 4,350 miles per hour, use combat and reconnaissance drones, attack the enemy with the most powerful laser weapons, be invisible using advanced stealth technologies, and stay in the air 24/7 thanks to artificial intelligence control. It's not known when this aircraft will be officially released, but it will become the main contender for the title of the best fighter in the history of aviation. And for now, we can safely say that the United States knows how to create majestic aircraft that have been serving as a benchmark for many decades. This video's come to an end. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get access to the cool content we make for you. Thank you, and see you soon.